Welcome back to I've Got Something to Tell You with Taylor and
Colleen.
Yay.
I'm back.
Woo!
Yeah.
And she's eating pickles.
Oh my God. I'm stopping for the purpose of the podcast.
Okay, so we're on episode 9 today, and I'm confident in that number this time. Oh my God, there was I think the last few, we said the same number, and then we're like, oh wait, and then we changed it.
Yeah. I'm never confident in whatever number we say, but you sounded confident.
I am this time, but now I'm kind of rethinking.
I'm sure you're right.
It's 9. Yeah. So anything new going on with you?
Nothing with me, but you had some exciting news.
Yeah.
Your art.
I know.
That's so cool.
And I feel right now I feel like a lot of family and friends follow us, so they probably know I already paint, but if not, I do oil paintings for fun on the side, and the school that I actually got certified in for hypnotherapy is going to display my art during their first Fridays for the next 3 months.
Lucky them.
Oh, thank you.
Taylor's very talented at art.
Thanks.
And pretty much everything, but I'm sitting
I wouldn't say everything.
She does my hair.
I feel like I don't
paints
excel
things.
at a lot of things, but art is one thing I'm confident in.
We're sitting in, when we record, we sit in her kind of studio / office. So we're kind of surrounded by
/
her art.
everything.
Yeah.
It's my office for work / our podcast studio / my art studio. It's a walking treadmill under the desk. I just try to fit everything in here.
It's very cozy, but she's very talented. So do you have, do you want to share your Instagram where people could see your art?
Oh, yeah. It's Taylor, Tayler, Laido, Leido, art at Instagram.
Go look at it.
And also for anyone that's in Arizona, the school's in Tempe, and they have their first Fridays, I think. Oh, I mean, it's the first Friday of every month. I was going to be wait, what date? But yeah, they showcase a lot of people's art. They sell different things, different vendors come, and then they have different modalities for free, the hypnotherapy. There's Reiki, card readings and stuff like that, all for free.
So
and it's a really cool event. I haven't been in a long time, but before I started going to school there, I went a few times and I love it. So
amazing. I know, when she told me, I was like, can we go see it?
Yeah.
I'll be like, I know her.
I know, and I think my drop-off date is between the 31st and the 4th, and then I'm pretty sure the 5th is a Friday, maybe. I could be wrong, but anyway, first Friday in April, we will go.
So cool.
So if you want to go. But yeah, so I feel that's pretty much all that's going on with me. Aside from that, I feel I've just been kind of researching different things, and I will say from researching different things, I feel the algorithm on my Instagram has been crazy. And so I have a couple of friends that listen to the podcast every time we drop an episode.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also into that kind of stuff, and they're always sending me stories. And recently they sent me 2 different TikToks, and one I'm not going to go over because I want it to be an actual story. And it's not too creepy. It's just it's weird.
Yeah.
So I feel you'll appreciate it. But the other one, I don't know if you've seen this, but it's been trending on TikTok, but it's the gnomes that are running through people's front yards.
What? No.
Can I show you one video? It's not
Is it
scary.
scary?
It's not, I promise. It's just hold on.
Because I was gonna say that obviously my husband listens, and then he works with his best friend, and his best friend Eric, and he sent me a TikTok the other day, and I always call them during their lunch break, so we all talk together, me, Kyle, and Eric.
I love
and
that.
Eric's did you watch my TikTok? And I was like, no. And I went and looked at it, and I hung up on him because it was so scary.
What was it?
I don't know. All I saw was the cover art or whatever, and then he started like describing it. I was like, no, please stop. Like, stop. And then he kept like going into more detail. And so I just hung up.
You just hung up on him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, rude.
Yeah.
If it's just intentionally scary. I don't feel like this is that scary, but
well, don't say it's not.
I mean, it's not scary. Oh my God, hang on. Oh wait, this isn't even the video. Oh no.
Technical difficulties.
You might have lucked out. Try to imagine.
Visualize.
It's like security camera.
No,
it's
I already stop. I already hate it. No.
So if you haven't seen it, go on TikTok and look it up. But I guess they're called, and I feel like she's gonna make fun of me for trying to pronounce this.
I'm not. I would never.
Oh no, not you. My friend that sent it to me. But they're called duendes.
Duendes?
It's so it's in Mexican culture. Well, I guess Hispanic culture or Hispanic folklore. Because when I looked it up, there's some like in Mexico, but then the one that I looked up, it was in the Philippines too. But I feel like they kind of share some similarities sometimes.
Uh-huh.
But so I guess they're like little gnomes. It says that they live in the walls of houses or in the woods. They're gnomes. They're not that scary. And they're often associated with playing pranks and causing minor inconveniences, it says on Google. Oh yeah, and then it says they also like lure children and stuff. But the story that she sent me, I think it was called the Unnoticed podcast. Like they had clips, but it was a story in Mexico, and this guy, he played in a band and he was leaving, and he ran into some duendes, and they were like singing and stuff. They were dancing. Sorry, and they were like, "Can you play for us, and we'll exchange some gold?" And so he's like, hell yeah. And he took the gold. And then when he went home, he was knocking at the door because the door was locked. And his wife was like, where have you been? It's been years.
What?
So he like disappeared for years. And like the wife had remarried and had kids and stuff. So he just, like the time was just gone. So
oh my God.
Maybe that was their prank. I don't know. But like, sucker.
I was gonna say, like, that's
it's pretty rude. Like,
yeah.
Oh, and then like, cause he explained the story, like he got this gold and they were like, that's not gold, those are pesos. And he was like, what? It's just,
they just really got it. Yeah. Oh my God.
But anyway, had to tell that story because I thought it was kind of funny, and I don't know why it's trending, but so look out for those gnome videos. Okay.
Well, no, I kind of want to see it now, but I also was gonna say, like, because we've talked about like people in walls and stuff. Remember, we talked about the guy in the attic. Did you ever see like there was a pretty famous video that came out where some guy was saying like food in his kitchen was like disappearing.
Yeah. Wait, what was that? Because I remember reading that somewhere.
And then he like put up cameras in his kitchen, and it is the creepiest freaking video. There's like this girl that crawls out from like one of his cupboards, and she looks like the Ring Girl.
Ew.
And like she's been living in his apartment. Like, I don't know how you don't know that there's a person in your cupboard.
Yeah, like the cupboard. I feel like
it was like a lower cup. Like it was like the lower cupboards. I don't know.
Is it like the cabinets in our kitchen, or is it different?
Yeah. But it's like it would be like where your like sink stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
And she crawls out from there, and she just moves like eerily and stuff. Yeah. I don't know how real it is, but it was freaky.
I don't know, but I feel like I've heard stories like that before. That's not the one I was thinking of. I don't know if
so many.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I don't know if the one I'm thinking of is like a true story or if it's from like a movie or something. So I don't know, but someone living in the walls. You said that's pretty common. A pretty common story.
Yeah. Unfortunately, common.
I feel like I would know. I feel like I'm always on high alert with like
I've been
noises
living in your
my
walls for like 6 months and you never noticed. So.
You're like, I literally just walked out the gate and came to the front door.
I have to be late to recording just to throw you off a little bit.
You're like, okay, well, bye. Back to the
Circle
wall.
back around.
I'm like, that's why the harvest snaps have been missing.
All the snacks keep disappearing.
And it doesn't help that we like similar snacks. Like, we both like cheese. I'm like, I swear it wasn't me. But yeah. So, anyway.
Okay. Well, conversation over. Get to your story.
Moving on. I just had to tell you that one because I wasn't going to cover it. And I thought it was pretty funny.
The beanbag noises.
ASMR.
I can't eat my pickles, but you can move the beanbag around.
Just moving it around. Okay. So, when I was trying to come up with this story, and I keep leaning far away from the mic, so I'm going to try to lean forward.
Should we preface this that Taylor warned me what her story was?
Mm-hmm.
So
I warned her like a week in advance, and then she was kind of like, what? Then she was like, what are you afraid of the most?
Yeah, I was like, you can play this game.
I was just like, I don't know. And then today she was like, so about the story. Kyle's out of town, so
I'm still scared of one of the stories that Taylor told me, and I texted her the other night. I was like, I'm mad at you because I thought about it again and I could not sleep. And then she's like, I'm mad at you that you're still thinking of it. And so I was like, I'm mad at you that you're mad at me.
And then, but she heard like one sentence of the story. That's why I was like, I'm mad that you're still thinking about it. I feel like you remember it more than I do, and I like did the research.
It really stuck with me.
And it was one that we didn't record, but I might record another time. We'll see.
Yeah. But so Taylor sent me another podcast to listen to of the story, and I have consented to hearing it. So I cannot
She
complain.
agreed. And I don't know, I guess it's a little creepy. It depends what you think is creepy. And Colleen does not like demonic possession, and this includes demonic possession. And like I was telling you, I know a few other people that don't like it either. So, but
but I'm ready for it. I feel prepared. Thank you for letting me prepare for it.
You are welcome. I will do that every time I have one
that's
on this level.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So when I was trying to come up with this story, because I didn't really have anything. I mean, I have a list of things, but I wasn't feeling the other story that I had. And I was asking Seb, I'm like, what should I do? And he's like, do one, like, look some up in the Philippines. Like, we have some weird shit.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
like they do have a lot of like folklore and stuff, which I want to get into eventually.
Like the gnomes.
This isn't that. Yeah. So what's funny about those, not to get off track, but I remember them, I don't remember if it was him. I think it was him, yeah. It was him or his mom was telling me about them, like the story of them, because I guess they live in trees, but I didn't make the connection till my friend sent me that video. I was like, oh, so that's like a big thing there. Like, yeah, okay. Anyway, my story has to do with the Philippines.
Cool.
It takes place in Bacolod City, Philippines, in 1953.
No.
And fun fact from Seb, that's where the dish chicken inasal came from, and he really likes it. So, fun fact.
Seb, get your own freaking podcast.
So anyway, yeah, this takes place in May 1953. Clarita Villanueva made international headlines by one of the first recorded demonic possessions in Asia. And I guess in the world too, because it made international news, not just local news. But so Clarita was raised by a single mother whose occupation was a fortune teller. She was raised watching her mother hold seances, communicating with the dead, and making predictions about the future, which I was like, cool.
Don't love seances,
I know,
love future telling.
You hate that word. So she had a pretty rough upbringing because when she was 12 years old, her mom passed away, and she had no other family and took the little bit of information that she knew about her father and went to the city of Manila to go and look for him. She ended up getting a job as a maid to support herself while she was there, and she ended up putting the search for her father aside as her days were filled with working. And to make extra money, she began dancing at clubs and bars. And by 17, she met and fell in love with a man.
Oh.
Yeah. But when they went to elope, she found out he was married, and it crushed her.
Oh.
I know. And so, without a job, she went back to Manila and got into sex working. And she's only like 17, or between 17 and 18, I think. But so sad. And one morning at 2 a.m., she mistakenly offered her service to an off-duty police officer and was incarcerated at the old Bilibid prison, which is now Manila City Jail. This prison was established by the Spanish colonial government on June 25th, 1865. And later on in World War II was used by the Japanese to house prisoners of war. The conditions of this prison were pretty bad as far as sanitation, food, and basically all living conditions being extremely crowded. So with that being said, like the history of the prison was already like pretty dark.
Yeah. Is it both men and women kept there? Or
I think so. Yeah, because they didn't say men or women, so I'm just assuming it's both.
Yeah.
I feel like I read somewhere that she was like the youngest there, though.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I know they were saying the conditions were pretty bad back then, but it sounded like it wasn't much better now.
Yeah.
Like, not great. And wait, so the podcast that I sent you, did you listen to this part or no?
Yes.
Because I think I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I think they said something about when like bad things happen in a spot, like the negative energy can just stay stuck there.
Yeah.
Did they talk about that? Or I might be thinking of something
else. I was riding my bike, so I feel like I maybe didn't hear all of it for it to like stick. You know what I mean? But it sounds like, I mean, that would make sense to me.
I think so too. And like, that's something I already kind of believed. Like, I don't know. Have you ever seen the show Lock and Key?
Mm-mm.
You have to watch it.
Do I?
Yes, it is so good, but don't want to get off topic. But they have these things in the show called echoes.
Uh-huh.
And so basically it's like the essence of a person that was there before, but it's not actually them, and they're like evil. And I feel like that's what I think of when I think of like something super negative happening there. The essence of it stays there, but it's not like, I don't really believe it's like.
No, I get what you're saying. And sorry, I didn't mean to sound like a total dick when I said, do I?
I knew exactly what you meant.
Yeah. I just thought it was going to be scary. Like, it sounds like when you and Kyle try and make me watch Supernatural, and I'm like, no, it's too scary.
Okay, Supernatural, I couldn't even watch.
It's so freaky.
But I heard it's so good. I remember my friend tried to get me to watch it on the first episode. I was like, I don't think I could do this. When she's on the ceiling, I was just like,
Taylor, I have to sleep alone tonight.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Kyle and I
already. Okay, actually, never mind. Knowing you, it'll still come back.
Yeah. I just remember Hookman.
I don't remember that.
Oh, because
I only got through like maybe 1 or 2 episodes.
Okay, anyways, you're right. We don't need to be derailed. Sorry.
I know, sorry.
It's gonna happen.
Wait, did you ever? Because it was really funny. Did you ever talk about your dream? The one that you had after the episode that scared you?
I don't think so. But now I'm like not really remember. Wait,
okay.
what was it?
I don't remember who the famous person was, but okay, so sorry, this is like way off topic, but it's still scary stuff. Okay, you can fast forward if you don't hear this. So the episode that we recorded was about the story Dear David. You can look it up. We're not gonna go into details, but it's been scaring her off and on, and she had a dream that wasn't he there, and then who was the celebrity that was protecting? Oh, it was the is it Van Helsing? The girl or whatever?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. It
was such a weird dream, but it was so funny.
It was so stupid. It was like I was like part of Van Helsing, but we were like hunting Dear David.
And then you went to bed, but she was like protecting you.
Yeah. Oh, it was what's her face? She's so pretty.
Is it Kate
Beckinsale? Okay. Yes. Oh, okay. All of it is coming back to me. We have to cut most of this, but it was like it sounds weird. So she's in Van Helsing, and she was like, Dear David kept trying to come into, and it was like our house, like our bedroom. Yeah. And he kept trying to come into the room, and she was like sleeping beside me and Kyle, like protecting me.
I like how she was protecting you. She's like, this guy can't do it. Like, she's like, I got that. I know. Hilarious though. So anyway, after only being in the prison for a few days, Clarita claimed that she began seeing two creatures that would bite her on different parts of her body. It was reported that she would almost sit in like a trance state and then suddenly become violent as if she was fighting off the creatures. The guards would hear the commotion and they'd come running over to her cell, and she would be unconscious and she'd have bite marks on her. She was taken to the prison hospital for observation and treatment, and all the doctors stated they had never seen anything like it. There were bite marks on the back of her legs, on her neck, places she would not be able to reach. She didn't have a cellmate, and many of the other prisoners witnessed these invisible attacks. These bites continued on a daily basis. Throughout her stay, Clarita exhibited some bizarre behavior. According to her cellmates, she drank from an empty cup when they refused to give her water. She also became intolerant of religious images and attempted to smash a holy statue displayed on a wall. On a wall in the prison cell. She would laugh as if she was being tickled.
I hate that.
I don't know why I thought that was funny, but
well, being tickled is like the foremost like
you can
form
be
of
violently tickled.
Yeah, like I hate being tickled.
I don't either. It's not a great experience. A medical examiner, Mariano Lara, said the bites looked, in quotes, otherworldly. Like they were too large for a human bite. Filipino, Chinese, and American doctors and other professionals were called in to analyze this strange situation. So this then got the media's attention, and reporters were sent out to investigate. It soon began to become widely covered by magazines, news stations, and radio shows, locally and internationally. And on May 18th, Clarita was brought to a morgue for a psychological evaluation. And at this evaluation, there were reporters, medical professionals, politicians, and then just regular people trying to see what's going on. She immediately got aggressive and had to be held down, yelling that the thing was attacking her. The mayor witnessed a bite mark appear on her neck and her index finger. And I think there's actually a picture of
I don't need to see
her
it.
being,
it's okay.
Not the bite mark, but like her being held down. That's the one that kept coming up when I was researching.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't. Again, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just like,
okay, you don't have to.
Also trying to set boundaries for myself.
Boundaries noted.
Yeah, thank you.
But people listening, there's pictures, and I think there's actually video too.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't look it up because I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
She was given a paper and pencil and was asked to draw what the entities looked like. As soon as they gave her the pencil, it flew out of her hand by an invisible force.
Whoa.
Yeah. While she was in a trance-type state, Dr. Mariano Lara, with multiple medical interns watching, attempted to prick her with needles. And I don't remember the exact, like, why they did this. There's a reason behind it, but it's, like, pretty messed up.
Yeah.
But she didn't react.
You're being tortured. Let's just poke you some.
Let's just see what happens if we just poke somebody that's possessed. Like, it's already shown.
It'll be like a balloon. The little ghost will like fly.
Bye. One of the doctors, Dr. Manuel Ramos, during an interview with her in prison, accused her of faking it and causing a scene for publicity.
Of course.
She glared at him and said, "You will die."
Yeah.
The following day, he died of a heart attack.
Good.
Rude.
Well, it's a man telling a woman that you're overreacting.
Yeah. He's gaslighting her.
Yeah.
A prison guard kicked Clarita during one of her violent outbursts. In a span of a few weeks, his health began declining and he eventually died. I couldn't find the actual cause like the other one, and I couldn't find his name either, but he died.
Good. So far, I'm on her side.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a very, like, humane place, in my opinion.
100%.
Another one of the doctors said that he felt that he was also cursed by Clarita, referring to a time where Clarita asked him where her small metal crucifix necklace was. He was like, "I don't know. Like, I've never seen it." What?
I remember this.
Okay, you do?
Yeah. Sorry, I got excited.
You looked really excited. She told him to check his pocket. He did. Stunned, he pulled it out. The necklace was there, and Clarita warned him, "Don't lose it." And so, to me, when I read that, I was like, she's a magician.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, so far she's putting men in her place. She's and like, she does magic.
So anyway, after all of the media attention, an American Protestant minister, Lester Frank Sumrall, felt that he knew what Clarita needed at the time. And at the time, he was already in the Philippines building a worship site. On May 19th, the minister met Clarita. As soon as she laid eyes on him, she said, "I hate you." And so he took that as like, that was a big indication that she was possessed because she spoke English. And when she only spoke Tagalog, and the other dialect is Ilonggo.
Oh,
but
so she only spoke English?
That's what they say. But in the Philippines, they all like mostly speak English. Like they have Tagalog and English, and they kind of intertwine them. So to me, that wouldn't be a big indicator. Yeah. I'm sure she knew English, but anyway.
I feel like they're saying she's possessed, but really she's just pissed off at men.
She's like, "Screw you all." We put on the show.
She's on level Bell Witch for me right now.
Yeah. I know. I'm on her team. So on her side. So Sumrall started by telling the authorities that Clarita should not receive any medication and that no other religious figures should be allowed to pray for her, so that I guess he was like claiming to be Jesus-like, could retrieve like all the credit.
Again, not on her side, or I am on her side.
And also, initially, he didn't want reporters allowed in the room for the exorcism, but I think after seeing like all like the supporters he had and stuff, he let them do it. So at first he was gonna be like, no, like nobody can watch what we're gonna do.
But now he wants like
so
the fame.
That was a little weird to me.
Yeah.
So Clarita was Catholic, like a lot of Filipinos, and she had been given a rosary for protection days before the exorcism. She would kiss and hold it whenever she felt vulnerable, which I thought was sweet. And Sumrall, with his Protestant background, had the rosary removed, arguing that it was tainted by evil spirits and that her use of it showed, I don't know this word. Hold on.
I just loved your face.
I don't remember. Hold on. Let me look this up real quick.
I don't know this word.
Okay. Idol worshipping. So I don't understand why that's a bad thing, though. It basically just showed that she was Catholic and that she worshipped Catholic faith. So
yeah, like isn't that what religion kind of
is?
I mean, not trying to be disrespectful to right?
I mean,
that kind of
that is like that's her belief. So yeah, I don't understand that part anyway. So Sumrall, with the help of 2 other Methodist ministers, fasted to prepare for the spiritual battle. They alternated between singing hymns and commanding the devils to leave in Christ's name, while Clarita switched from being calm to enraged. And meanwhile, during all of this, she would have new bites on her skin. So when Clarita claimed the dark forces had left through the window, everyone thought the ordeal was over, but the demons returned, supposedly speaking through her and asserting their right to inhabit her because she was unclean. The entity continued to come and go throughout the 3 days of the exorcism. On the last night, Clarita appeared calm and prayed with Sumrall. He then instructed her to resist the demons and tell them they weren't welcome if they came back. She was given food, and she finally was able to rest that night.
Oh, good. Good for her. Well, hopefully good for her. Okay. Oh, no, your face.
I know. Later, in her prison cell, Clarita asked a guard for a knife to trim her nails, which first of all is like, that would be rough.
A knife?
You don't have nail clippers back then? Yeah, and since obviously they're not allowed to have sharp objects, the guard offered to help her. And then suddenly Clarita screamed and claimed to see the thing behind the guard. She fought the invisible attacker, but the guard reminded her of Sumrall's advice. She followed it, and then she passed out. Because she would, I think I said this earlier, like whenever she would like fight off these demons when they'd come, she'd always end up fainting after. When she was examined, they found black, coarse hair under her fingernails. That part kind of grossed me out.
Well, and I do specifically remember that from the episode that you sent me, because they were like, when she drew the pictures of the stuff, of the things, and I'm not going to say the word, but that they had black hair and that like she described them that way.
Okay, yeah, because I saw her describe it a couple different ways, so I just left the description out, but good to know because that kind of aligns with the black hair then.
Yeah, and that's why they were saying like it was so weird because like if she was fighting it, then
like she could have
I mean,
fighting someone in real life.
Yeah,
if you grab their hair or something. Yeah, so they put it under a microscope and they determined that it wasn't human or Clarita's. So weird. According to some people that were watching, they claim to have seen Sumrall expel 15 demons from Clarita. And this part, just to note, it wasn't recorded. Like, so this is like a lot of speculation, this part.
I feel like it's a lot of one-upping. Like, I saw 13. I saw 14.
Well, I saw this.
Yeah.
Oh, the news is involved? Okay, well, I saw this firsthand.
Yeah, interview me.
Yeah. So she became a media sensation. They referred to her as Dracula Girl. However, to note, the public interest they kind of lost interest when the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II went on the news. So a week after the exorcism, Clarita attended her vagrancy hearing and was sent to Welfareville, a home for homeless and neglected children. There, she found stability and normalcy. According to Sumrall, he advocated for her release, and once granted parole, a Christian family took her in. Clarita recovered, eventually leaving Manila to live in a small northern Luzon town to escape the ongoing media attention. Later, she returned to Bacolod, where she married a rice farmer, had 2 children, and lived a quiet life. So I think it ended on a good note, but I will say I feel like it was really messed up that she was like, I feel like the media attention, putting her in those positions, like, and just remembering she's like a minor at the time.
Yeah,
and going
she's
through
only
all,
17, right?
Yeah, like traumatic.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it ended well for her.
Good.
It wasn't that bad.
No, it was not that bad. I mean, it's still freaky for sure. I'm glad there were no visuals.
Yeah.
What I thought this was going to turn into when you warned me was there was like a show or a movie where, and I think it's based on a true story.
This was also made into a movie.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what's it called?
I don't know, but it was made in the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a movie about like, and I think it's based on a true story about when they had like a live exorcism on TV. Like a talk show host had some lady who said that she was possessed.
Oh.
And he was like, can you channel the like, I'm sure it was over dramatic for the movie. I never watched it, but the trailer scared.
Oh, wait, it was based on a true story? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
When I was taking the hypnotherapy classes, I think it was the spirit releasement class, because they have a thing where they say like you can get these attachments from other people, whether it's like, and it's not like described as like demonic or whatever, but it can be like a negative attachment. And she had a video of her doing hypnosis on a guy that had an attachment, and it was kind of crazy because he starts speaking in a different voice.
I don't like that.
I know. And eventually she's able to like release it from him. It was like pretty like trippy to see. Like it wasn't, I know it sounds crazy, but it's not that crazy to watch. Like he's just like chilling in a chair under hypnosis, like having a conversation with her, and her asking it like, why are you here? What's your purpose? Like, you need to go.
Do you remember? Sorry, bringing it back to house. I know we haven't talked about Housewives, but we were talking about Housewives early, off the podcast. But do you remember when Gina on OC is like convinced she has like a D word attached to her?
Wait, the newer Gina?
Yeah, blonde Gina.
Oh, no, why don't I remember that?
And so she goes to have it like taken away from her, and the woman is like, and she's like trying to like kind of like pull it out of her like quote unquote mouth, and Emily in the background is laughing so hard.
Now I want to look that up.
Yeah.
I do remember one from Vanderpump Rules when Stassi and Katie go to that house, and she's like, like she pushes her hands and like blows with her mouth, like she's blowing away the spirit. Which I feel I've seen people do that stuff, but
it's like the dark passenger or whatever.
Yeah, trying to release it from her.
I'm like, don't get rid of it. Like,
I know, it's entertaining to watch.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a quick break. That was really good though, Taylor. And thank you again for letting me prepare.
You're welcome.
It made it not just me screaming, no, the entire time.
We have to take precautions with those stories.
Yeah. Appreciate you. All right.
No problem.
Quick break. Okay. So we're back from our break and I've got something to tell you. So apologies, because I might be stepping into your territory a little bit.
I don't mind that at all.
I may have played myself a little bit because the story freaked me out.
Wait, didn't you say you tried to find one scary for me? It
Yeah.
ends up being scary for you.
We talked about that. We talked about this earlier where she texted me and she's like, hey, like I'm doing possession this week. And I was like, okay, what freaks you out? Because I'll come guns blazing too. So I'm going to be telling the mysterious happenings at the Andrews house.
I have never heard of that, but I am intrigued.
Okay. So it's super creepy. I've heard this story before. We'll put links of my references in the show description, but
okay. I was going to ask you about that, but we'll talk about that
later.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so setting the scene, it's the 1980s in Townsend, Massachusetts. Small town, old houses, quiet streets, perfect setting. Yeah.
It's like, isn't Salem in Massachusetts too?
I think there's a Salem, Massachusetts, and I know there's a Salem, Oregon.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's the same thing with like Vancouver, Portland, Maine, Portland, Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but again, we've heard this before, like quiet town. This is where all the shit goes down.
Yes.
So the Andrews family has just moved into their new home. Brian Andrew, the dad, is a single dad raising his two daughters, 15-year-old Annie and 8-year-old Jessica. They were grieving the recent loss of their mom, who had just passed away from cancer. So there's a lot of heaviness and sadness with the family. The loss of the mother had obviously devastated them, and they were really trying to get through it. Brian, the dad, also has to work more to make money for the family. So he has a lot of guilt not being around as much, just because he has to either work more hours or pick up, odd jobs here and there. And Annie, being the older daughter, takes on most of the home responsibilities, kind of looking out for Jessica, her younger sister. So they move into their home for this fresh start, but not long after they have settled in, strange things start happening.
Ooh. Excited.
It all started kind of subtly, and almost like innocently. Annie and Jessica began hearing faint noises at night, like things that you would convince yourselves that weren't real, just like, oh, it's the house settling, or like, you know what I mean?
Like the creaking and knocking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, to your point, a soft knock, or like they'd hear like a really faint scratch.
Mm-hmm.
But it was always kind of quiet and very brief. So it was like it would happen and they would be like, oh, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Like your air conditioning just turned on. And I was like,
what was that?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Like
anyway.
that would be like driving to a very large conclusion from just a, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they just thought it might, like I said, like it might be just the house settling or like maybe some mice or whatever, that kind of thing. But soon it became harder to ignore. The sounds became more louder and more deliberate, like it wanted you to hear.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Get your attention.
Yeah. They'd also start hearing slow rhythmic tapping on the walls at night. Like, so like.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah. Norman, if you can add that in. Sometimes it sounded like it was coming from inside the walls, other times from the ceiling. Jessica, the younger one, swore that she started hearing whispers.
Ooh.
But like they were very soft, so she couldn't make out the words. She just could feel like somebody was whispering to her.
Yeah.
And then Annie, the older one, told her like to brush it off. It was all in Jessica's imaginations. It wouldn't be a podcast if I didn't mess up a word. So Annie says that it's all in Jessica's imaginations. But Annie also said that she was hearing like the same thing. She was just trying to calm Jessica down.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it started not just happening at night. During the day, when the house was quiet, they would hear again those faint knocking, the sharp like scratches and taps, and that like rhythmic like as if somebody was like knocking on the door, but nobody was at the door.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'd also hear footsteps, which sounded like someone was like pacing back and forth in the house. Also like the scraping. I just imagine like nails like going.
Even if it's just like the gentle like
yeah,
that's scary.
So freaky.
And also like I feel like sometimes when I'm home alone, I'm more like conscious of the house settling and stuff, and like also our floors because they're like laminate, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They settle a lot in the winter, and sometimes it will sound like footsteps. I'm like, what? Who's there?
Yeah.
Like,
I always have to be really cognizant of where the dogs are too, because like sometimes I'm like that's the dog upstairs that's moving around, not like because I have big dogs. So
they make some pretty heavy footsteps.
Yeah, keep that in mind, people. I have big dogs. Don't mess with my
Stay out.
Then they start hearing more of the voices. And again, it's just like the murmurs, but they start saying it started sounding guttural, which like...
What does that mean?
Like yeah.
Like that's how they were talking to each other?
Yeah. Like that's the sound that they were hearing. Like it was coming from the gut. So it was like purposely spooky.
Ooh.
Yeah. I just hate the word guttural because I always just think of that. Like,
I feel like I've never heard of that word.
To me, it sounds like it's like
guttural.
I feel like it's like this is how I imagine it, but I don't think it's the right way to describe.
I kind of want to hear it because I don't understand.
I feel like it's like right before you're about to barf and you're like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I imagine it. But like,
I wouldn't even be able to talk like that without throwing up.
Do you want to try?
No. You want to see me throw up? Okay.
Like it's kind of like dry heaving.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, that's really gross, but that's how I imagine it.
No, because remember in the Bell Witch, they started hearing someone like gasping for air. I feel like that kind of sounds the same.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're almost like out of breath. So it's like it's coming from like, yeah.
Ew. Okay. I think I know what it sounds like now.
Okay. Okay. So, but they're starting to hear this more like aggressive voice and whisper, but in like that
tone of
guttural. Yeah, guttural. But it never lasts long enough for them to like exactly know where it's coming from. It kind of feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Interesting.
Yeah. So then the strange noises escalate, but then objects around the house began to move. Like one example is a chair that had been under the dining room table would suddenly be like pulled out, and they're like, nobody's home to move this stuff. So it was like just enough for them to feel unsettled.
Yeah.
Like,
so they didn't see it get pulled out, but it would be in a different place that they left
like
it.
they would like leave like a cup of water somewhere, and then they would come back and the cup of water would be moved around. And it's like,
that's just as spooky as seeing it.
I 100% agree. Okay. One day Jessica's favorite doll went missing, and she searched everywhere for it, only to find it sitting in the middle of the living room floor, like upside down, staring at her. And she was like, what the heck?
Oh, hell no.
Pictures in the house, like...
Okay, your story's scarier than mine so far.
Pictures in the house would be turned completely upside down. Yeah.
Ew.
I know. So freaky. It gets worse.
It's scary, but I love it. I'm like, where's this going?
Okay. And then lights would like start to flicker. They would turn off. The noises and the knocking and the scratching and all of the whispers continue, and they just kind of seem to like be wanting more attention. So they get louder, like, pay attention to me. Like, you guys aren't scared.
Aggressive.
Yeah, it's like you guys aren't scared enough of me. Like,
yeah.
Pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, so the girls keep going to their dad, and Brian, their dad is like, don't worry about it. Like, it's nothing. You girls are like, he also thinks they might be exaggerating because they think he thinks they want more attention from them, given that like their mother's passed away and
he's not home a lot.
So like they might be making up these stories in order to like just get some more affection from him.
Yeah.
So he's really dismissive of their story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so super side story. On top of everything that's weird happening in the house, Annie, the older child, she's 15 years old, she gets a random phone call. And it's from this guy who says he saw Annie one day, but he goes to a different school and he thinks she's super pretty. So he was there with mutual friends and he had asked one of the mutual friends for her phone number and wanted to give her a call. They start talking and he's telling her how he's like this like blonde hair football player, like star athlete, like all this stuff. And so this is kind of like a bright light for Annie. Like, isn't that like kind of a dream? Like, I mean, not that a woman should be defined by a man being interested in her.
But around that age, it's like a crush.
Yeah. And then it's like a dreamboat calls you. And like, you know, so it's like exciting.
Yeah.
But so he finally asks her out and he shows up to pick her up. He is not what he described. Yeah. So Danny Laplante is the guy that shows up and he's like, they really went hard on him in some of the articles and podcasts that I listened to. I looked up a picture. He's not that bad looking.
Mm-hmm. But maybe just not as he described.
He's definitely not what he described. But like, he's not, I mean, maybe I didn't look at the right pictures, but he didn't look terrible to me.
They were just like going in on him.
But I also have a very particular taste. So yeah. And yeah. But anyway, he doesn't look that terrible to me in the pictures, but like, he also is described as like he has really bad hygiene. I don't know that I could get that like from the pictures, but they say he like smelled kind of
hygiene
funky.
Makes it so much worse.
Yeah. And that he had like bad skin and like greasy hair and stuff like that. So he's short. He has
okay. Nothing wrong with being short. Move on.
I'm just saying. He said he was like 6'5". He has a different interpretation of what being 6'5".
Not a football star.
Yeah. He also has dark hair, which like, why lie about your hair color? Like,
yeah. But also like you're gonna meet her. Like, what are you thinking?
I don't know. Anyways, so he's very different than what he describes to Annie. However, Annie is such a sweet girl and she doesn't need to do this. She still goes out on the date with him, which like...
Well, that's nice of her.
It was nice of her, but also like if a guy, you're allowed to say you aren't what you told me you were, I'm not comfortable going on a date with you.
Yeah, you're a pathological liar.
Yeah.
That's
like,
scary.
Exactly. So she goes out with him and on their date, they're talking and Annie shares about her mother's death and this dude lights up and starts asking her like all these in-depth questions about
the death,
about her mom's death. Like how much did the mom suffer?
Oh my God.
What was she there when her mom died? What was it like watching somebody like slowly die? Like really weird stuff. And so Annie finally is like, hey, like take me home.
Yeah.
So it's really sad because you know, obviously she was excited. She's been going through a lot, not just from her mom's death, but all the weird occurrences in the house. So just a side story. I know I talked about how I hate seances, but
there's a seance.
There's a seance.
Double seance today.
Yeah. So going back to the Andrews house, one night they're desperate for answers of like what's going on in the house. They also are they're feeling like a disconnect with their dad and they want to connect with their mom.
Mm-hmm.
So the two sisters go into the basement and they hold a seance, mainly trying to connect with their mother, not trying to, like, their primary focus is to connect with their mother, not try and connect with whatever's going on in the house. However, during the seance, things get almost like violent with noises of like hard pounding on the walls. They are terrified because they feel like they've now, whatever was going on before, they've like aggravated it.
Oh,
And
scary.
so they're freaking out in the basement. Their dad finally comes downstairs and he's like, absolutely not. What the heck are you guys doing? Like, and they're trying to tell him like all of this, like this all just happened right before you came in. And he's like, again, I feel like you guys might be just looking for attention. And so after the seance, things in the Andrews house goes from 0 to 100. Again, the girls are scared because they think they've like unwoken this thing that whatever was like slightly taunting them is now
like full blown.
Yeah. Objects weren't just disappearing anymore. Now it was like things were being deliberately moved. Like it's very clear, like whatever's in the home is absolutely going after them. Like it is not trying to like subtly move thing. It's like moving
in your face.
Yeah. Like again, the pictures are being turned upside down constantly. Like
I hate the pictures upside down. I know. That's like worse than something being thrown across.
Yeah.
It's like unsettling.
The noises grow even louder. They're more frequent and again, more violent. Like it sounds like things are trying to like break through the wall. The girls are obviously freaked out. They feel like they've conjured something. Brian, again, trying to be, I mean, I feel like he's trying to be a good dad and like calm the girls down because he's not really like experiencing what they are.
Yeah.
He's trying to calm them down, saying it's just part of their imagination. But now the messages start. Messages. Yeah.
Like, tell me more.
Yeah, I will.
Thanks.
So one afternoon, Annie and Jessica are playing in the living room when they notice something written on the wall in the hallway. Written on the wall in the hallway. They go to look at it. So they kind of like see it out of the corner of their eye and they're like, what is that? And they go to look at it. And in dark, dripping letters, it reads, I'm in your house. Come find me.
Oh, no.
You asked for this when you told me you were doing possessions.
Yours is worse.
So the girls fucking flipped. They ran to find their dad. And this is finally when Brian is like totally freaked out too. Because it looks like blood. And after looking at the message, though, he sees that it's ketchup.
Oh. He blames them.
He does.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh.
He thought that they were trying to escalate the thing, whatever they were telling him, to, like, and that they did this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I know. So believe your kids. I feel like also kids
That's a lot of lack of trust in the kids there.
That's true. What did they deserve? What did they do to deserve this like untrusting relationship?
Kids can be wild, but like that's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, kids say weird shit all the time. I feel like my nephew says stuff and I'm just like,
Seeing stuff.
Okay, so the messages don't stop there. A few days later, another note appeared on a mirror in the girls' bathroom. This time it read, come closer.
Oh. Give me goosebumps.
And they're written with like, you know, if like there's steam on the glass and you can like write a message and then like the steam disappears and the message is still kind of there, like smudgy.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That's scary.
Yeah.
I remember
No.
really, really quick.
Never apologize.
That not the creepy house I talked about in the first episode. It was our I think the third house we lived in, but it was the same one where it's like the ankle grabbing, that one.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was taking a shower, and on the shower door it said hi.
No.
I'm not even kidding. And I told Tara, and like she was freaked out about it too. But then later she's like, that might have been me. So it's just like, was it or was it not? Because
Yes.
that
Can
is
we confirm?
I know. Because you know how you just like, I mean, I don't know if you ever did this, but like draw on like.
Oh, I love that. I
Okay.
still do that. Like I'll draw like hearts on the like shower door.
Yeah,
and
and you
stuff.
kind of do it without even thinking.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, maybe it was her. But it's in the moment though. I was like, oh my God. I was
Yeah.
like, it says hi.
I mean, it's better than come closer.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, I will go farther. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the girls find the message on the mirror, they refuse to. They will never go in that bathroom alone. Like they always go to the bathroom together, which I was like, is this
I would do that too.
this start the trend of women going to the bathroom together?
Probably. Safer.
Yeah. Okay. This is where it gets worse. So one night Brian comes home and written on the wall, he's going up to his bedroom, written on the wall, it says, "Marry me," in what looks like blood. He freezes because he can feel like a presence in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
He slowly, I'm laughing because I'm just so happy that I'm freaking you out.
I know. I
You
have
put me through this every week. So
I have goosebumps.
he slowly turns around, and behind him is a teenage boy dressed in his dead wife's wedding dress with a blonde wig covered in
A teenage
face.
boy?
Teenage boy.
Okay.
Don't shrug. This is scary.
I know.
And he is holding a hatchet.
Oh my God. That's like, why the wedding dress though? And the
I feel like
wig?
that's so freaky. It's his dead wife's wedding dress.
I know, but it's
He wanted to
you gonna chase me in that wedding dress?
He wanted to feel pretty, okay?
I can't.
Don't judge.
Okay. Goosebumps
Well, you can
gone.
judge him, I guess. He's kind of a scumbag. Okay, so Brian immediately runs, grabbing his girls and getting them out of the house. The boy doesn't chase them.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian runs to the neighbor's house with the girls like in tow, while also like keeping an eye on the house just in case the boy
Comes running or
Yeah.
something.
So he's watching the house, doesn't see anybody exit, doesn't see like anything happen.
Mm-hmm.
The neighbors immediately call the cops. When the officers arrive, they search the house from top to bottom, but could not find the boy.
Hmm.
However, what they do find is crawl spaces inside the house. The boy had been living in their walls for weeks.
Jeez.
They find food. They find like empty beer cans. They find like pennies glued to the wall. So I don't know if he was like using them to like keep track of time or like
Maybe
some sort. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
So
like,
that's what the scratching and the knocking was?
do you want to know who it was?
Yeah.
It was the boy that Annie had gone on the date with. And he was living inside their walls so he could stalk and watch Annie. Police discovered peepholes carved into the walls throughout the home.
Oh, creepy.
This allowed Daniel, the boy that Annie had gone on a date with, to watch the family as they ate, slept, and just went about their day. But he was watching them constantly. Like
Mm-hmm.
there was not a point in the home where Danny wasn't watching them.
And he I just remembered your earlier because you said he smelled bad. He probably never showered if he was always in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Yeah. So he wasn't just living in their home. He had made it like a twisted game for him.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't being haunted.
Mm-hmm.
They had somebody living in their freaking wall.
Creepy.
So obviously they find Danny in the walls. They catch him. They arrest him. He is brought to jail. However, he's tried as an adult. He's the same age as Annie, so like 15, 16. But he's tried as an adult, and as an adult, you can be put up for bail. So his mom puts the bail money up, and he gets out.
What?
So you can, if you're up for trial, you'll either be able to get out on bail and like live in human society while you're waiting trial. Or if you can't put up bail, you'll stay in jail.
Okay.
And so he gets out. Obviously, he's like being watched or whatever, but he's out.
It also makes me wonder, like, the ice cream truck.
I thought that was your phone. I was like, I don't love that.
A little creepy. Like the mom or parents of the kid, like, weren't they wondering where he was at? He's like living in their walls.
He had a very toxic home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I didn't go into his backstory, but he was like very much abused, and
so they probably didn't care.
Yeah, like it was. Yeah, I think their last ditch effort to show any sort of like love or affection for him was to get him out of jail. He'd also, like, there's many stories about him. I was trying to just scare the shit out of you, so I just focused on
Thank you.
on him freaking the Andrews family out. But there was a lot of stories about like crimes and things that he had done before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he's done more.
Yeah.
Dang.
And I'm gonna end with his final crime.
Okay.
Because it's bad. But anyway, so he's out on bail waiting trial for the Andrews family, which is like stalking and breaking and entering and all these different things that he's charged with. In December 1987, not long after the Andrews house situation, Daniel broke into the home of the Gustafson family. This is also in Townsend, Massachusetts. They are a young, happy family, husband and wife, Priscilla and Andrew, with their 2 children, 7-year-old Abigail and 5-year-old William. Priscilla, the wife, was also pregnant with their 3rd child. Daniel is now off of the Andrews situation, and he is escalating because I feel like he wanted to harm the family and never got that opportunity.
He's holding like a hatchet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his plan was foiled.
Yeah.
So now he's looking at the Gustafsons as another like happy family and wants to end their happiness. So on December 1st, while Andrew Gustafson was at work, Daniel broke into their home. Priscilla and the children were there, completely unaware that Daniel had entered into their home. No one knows exactly how things unfolded inside of the house, but what is known is that Daniel brutally murdered the entire family in an unimaginable violence.
Wow.
So what is said that we do know is he did start with Priscilla, the mother. He forced her into the bedroom where he assaulted her and then shot her in the head at point blank range.
Oh, he had a gun.
Again, she's pregnant, so he also shoots fetus.
Yeah.
He then turns his attention to Abigail and William, the 2 children. He drowned both of them in separate bathrooms within the home.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Andrew Gustafson came home later that day. He found his wife's body in their bed. And they also say that this was around, well, obviously it's December, but they already had, like, he came home And he thought it was weird because they had all these like Christmas decorations up and none of the lights were on.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife loved Christmas. So like she would turn them on like as soon as the sun went down in order to like lighten up the home.
Same.
Yeah. And I was like, girl, I feel you.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's weird that like the house is not like,
lit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and so when he got home and then to find that, his wife and 2 kids like brutally attacked.
Yeah.
They immediately connect Daniel to this crime based on DNA evidence that was left behind at the crime scene. And the connection with the Andrews family because they have his DNA from that crime scene as well. So it's like easy peasy.
Like instant.
Yeah. Like not even a question. It was him. Lock him up.
Good.
Daniel shows no remorse. He was cold, detached, and it was clear that this wasn't like a crime of passion. He wanted to hurt somebody. And again, I think it was like that he was thwarted trying to attack the Andrews.
Yeah.
And that he needed, like, not that he needed to, but he wanted to get.
Like he wanted like the satisfaction of just killing someone and ruining their life.
Yeah.
Is what it sounds like.
100%. So he was, in this crime, he's charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. They described that during his trial, the details of his crimes literally like made the jury nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
Not only because of the psychological torment of the Andrews family, given, you know, already the trauma that they had been through, but the utter violence that went against the Gustafsons family and how young those 2 kids were.
Yeah.
So he's found guilty, sentenced to life in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah. I hate him.
I hate him too, but did I scare you?
Yeah, it was creepy.
I hope you don't sleep tonight.
I probably will, but well, I really liked that story. I know I told you a million times on there, but yeah, that was a good one. I didn't know where it was going.
Good. I was trying to mislead you, but
you did mislead me.
Cool.
Amazing.
We were talking about this a bit off the air.
I said that earlier too. I was like, wait a minute, off air.
We're not radio.
Off the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know the right phrasing, but I was trying really hard when Taylor was talking about like the stuff in the walls earlier when we were talking.
Yeah.
To not like, because I really wanted to be like, my story meant like.
You're like, this would be a great segue. And we couldn't remember who brought it up either. Yeah. So we'll have to go back and listen to that.
Yeah.
So again, if you guys want to send in scary personal stories for us to have like a bonus episode or something to tell your scary stories, you can send it to, and Colleen's going to spell it out,
IGSTTY stories@gmail.com.
And so, because I feel like every time we release an episode, we have like a decent amount of people listening. And I know for sure, like 2 or 3 of my friends follow it every time we drop a new episode. And I know like you have some people too, but I definitely feel like there's people that maybe we don't know. And so if you don't know us personally, you should send us an email or follow us on Instagram or something, or leave a review, because it would be cool to know if there's I love our family and friends, but it would be cool to know the other people listening.
I love that. Yeah. That would be really cool. And make sure also to share with your friends. I think something that always surprised me when I like started listening to like true crime stories is how many of my friends like that we'd never like
discussed it.
Yeah. And so share with your friends. And make sure to rate, review, subscribe too. That helps us. Again, we love doing this. This is a passion project for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're having a lot of fun, but we want to make sure that you guys enjoy it. So give us some feedback too.
Yeah, even story recommendations too.
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, like people that we didn't really talk about it before, like my uncle and cousin gave me some ideas for stories that I'm going to tell later. So the recommendations are always cool because I feel like there's endless stories.
I will say that too, of my friends at the gym. They like, we kind of were like passing by each other because they were doing the stretching class and I don't stretch, which good for them because that's why they're in great shape and I'm probably not.
Your bones popping.
Yeah, I know. My entire shin just cracked earlier. So, but one of them I loved because she was just like, they were like, we listened to your podcast. And one of them goes, do you just giggle along with them the entire time? I was like, oh, like it just warmed my heart. So
I love that.
but also we want to make the, like, you know, we want to tell stories that people are interested in. So feedback is great. Just, yeah, guys, help us make it better. Help us get the word out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks. Thanks for listening. Till next time.
Thank you. Later.